This episode is brought to you by Los Cuernos Wine
and John Milikowski Tax Law,
the Coast News Group,
and Repegs. All of you make this podcast possible. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome to the Heart of the Matter podcast. I'm Junon.
And I'm Susan Billings. We are at the Bermuda Club. They are so gracious to always host us. We love
thank
them.
you, Bermuda Club.
If you ever have a chance to come by, see their whole setup, you'll love it.
Yeah, absolutely. And today we're here with the founders of Los Cuernos, Zeke and Cory. Welcome.
Hey,
Yes.
thanks you guys.
Yeah. You guys are familiar with Bermuda Club.
We are.
How did you connect with them? What's the
How did that
backstory
happen?
behind that?
I think Scott reached out
Oh, really?
and he just thought it would be fitting to like somehow have our wine here. And I was going to say 2 peas in a pod,
Right.
but if we're talking about Scott and then Zeke, there's 3 of us. So anyway, great guys, kind of an organic, just kind of relationship, just started to form, and we're super close too. I think he also realized, so our HQ, as we like to call it, even though it's like a little square 100-foot guy,
Yeah.
but our
That's
office
how it
is like
starts.
right across the street, essentially here. in
Oh, that
Carlsbad.
makes sense. Well, and that's actually how we met too, because I saw your Instagram, social media posts, things like that. You guys have so much energy, and that's great.
I was getting you confused, the 4 of you.
Oh,
a while.
okay.
Yeah.
See, so that it kind of affirms the peas in a pod
that you're
situation.
pretty much
okay.
the same. Yeah.
I think once you come in here, I'm like, all right, what is it? And then it's like, oh, this is like an adult fun club.
I
was
right?
like, what,
Right.
golf, TVs,
Yeah.
And then the gym,
Yeah,
work out, and the
cold
exactly.
plunge. It's like all the
Sauna.
things we like in one place.
Yeah.
It's like, how do I tell my wife that
You're
this
going
is a
to work.
workplace?
You're
right.
going to work.
Exactly.
And then you have this.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me, Cuernos, what does that mean? Why? When did that pop into your head? Why that name?
All right. So Cory and I are sommeliers. We're like bougie wine guys. And we knew we wanted to do this wine for about like 10 years. So,
Oh, wow.
but we didn't have the name. So
Mhm.
we loved wine. We wanted to make wine. We actually wanted just to make wine more accessible. So we're thinking about blends and different things, but we didn't have a name. So I think some of them were like the People's Wine, People's Choice Wine. And it's also hard to make names. So
Wait,
mostly-
are you saying that was one of the options we were going to do for the name?
Yeah, I probably didn't tell you that.
There you go.
That would have got like the big gong.
Yeah.
I was thinking it was coming from you.
Yeah.
People's choice.
The people. I was thinking The Rock. I don't know. The People's Choice.
Yeah, well, we wanted like a wine for the people.
Okay.
And so, like, thinking of names all the time, and then there's like this dichotomy between Cory and I. So Cory is very kind of artsy, he's outgoing, he's like tall, he's good looking,
Okay.
and I'm more of a robot.
Hey.
Totally cool with that. I am from California. He is from Texas.
That's right.
Oh.
And then I actually grew up by the border, so I'm fluent in Spanish. Hablo español muy bien. People don't know that the Asian
yeah.
guys speak Spanish.
No.
Yeah, his wife's from
Right.
Colombia, so there's a lot of Spanish
Oh,
speaking going on at
wow.
home too.
And then if you actually try to do a name of a product and you go through like the database of what's trademarked, it's actually very hard.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of names. So I saw it on a telenovela, actually. They were talking about something with the horns, and they said Los Cuernos. And I was like, Cory is a alum of the University of Texas. So he's
Yes.
a Longhorn.
Welcome.
And then
right.
I was like, wow, Los Cuernos. So the truth is I didn't tell anybody about the name for like 3 years.
Oh.
Whoa.
Except Cory, because I was scared that someone was going to take it.
Uh-huh.
So
You're
it's like-
one of those.
Oh, yeah.
See, with baby names, it's like they don't say anything. I always say it, so I'm like, this is mine. The minute I'm pregnant, I'm like, this is the name no one did.
And then everyone takes. So
But
did you
then
register it? Or
I like
was
you,
it-
Susan.
We
Yeah.
did. So we
Yeah.
didn't do it at the time, and then we did now. And then
Yeah.
like we got the website, we got all the name, and so we talked about it more. And then if you think about like how we think of like food, farm, family, friends, is the farm is where it's all there,
Mm.
right? Where the grapes are grown, we can have livestock, you can have dinner, and where the wine is made.
Love
and so
that
we
visual.
say Los Cuernos is kind of like an ode to like the
Wow.
cow, the farm,
Yeah.
the asada, all together. and that
A
is what-
place where great wine and food are.
That's
cultivated.
amazing.
That's
That's well
that
thought out.
visual is so good. You
Yeah.
need to kind of have that as a backdrop on your website somehow.
Yeah.
Like get that feeling. That was a
It
good.
makes me question I mean, we came up with the group because
We
we
don't-
couldn't find a name.
Yo, we're a
We
group.
couldn't figure it out. We're like, yeah, we're
All
the
right,
group.
group's all meeting.
Yeah.
Hey,
That
what
was
should our
well
name
thought
be?
out.
The group.
Wow.
Yeah, but and also it's just a strong name.
Yeah.
But a lot
Yeah.
of people ask, so
It
it's very serendipitous. It was the first question. On our 4-pack box, you open it, and on the first flap, we answer the question. We don't go into as
Oh.
much nuanced detail as Zeke did, so that was a treat.
Really? That's great.
I don't even remember the telenovela part of it. So
Huh.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I
That's
love
great.
that.
Well, then, so how did you two meet?
And the low.
okay, we met. Zeke and I met. This is kind of funny. We're going to date ourselves a little bit, but so be it. We met in 2001 at a fine dining Italian restaurant in Long Beach.
Oh, it all started
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All in
and it's
A
called
love
Opera.
story.
It's still there. It's kind of an iconic, kind of super fancy
It's
Italian.
called what?
L'Opera.
L'Opera.
I think I've been there. It's
Okay.
in Long Beach. Is it
Yeah.
down by?
Right on Pine.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
I
has the
think
big
I've
glass
been there.
windows. It used to be the old bank.
Mm,
Lovely
yeah.
place.
Yeah.
And, it's like the servers are white coat, black bow tie. And we met there when we were young chaps, long before we were each married and had kids. And kind of a little side note about that is within the same 2 months of each other in 2001, Zeke and I and my wife,
Mhm.
my wife of almost 20 years, we
Wow.
all three of us started working there within the same 2 months of each
Oh,
other.
really?
Short, like almost right after I moved from Texas.
Wow.
So she was a hostess. Zeke and I were servers.
Wow.
And
That's
yeah.
so cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm gonna share the real story here that
Oh.
I've never shared.
Let's hear it.
Mm.
My first meeting with Cory. Okay, I can't cuss here, so let me
Sure
be
you can.
safe. So this is like a really fancy place. All the servers were in their 30s, and so we were in our 20s. And so for us, we studied wine a ton. Like we read books. We'd be literally playing Xbox, drinking wine, and reading and studying wine to become
Wow.
sommeliers. But at the
Wow.
time, Cory started a little ahead of me. So I was working day shifts. In the day shifts, you'd make like $40-$100. At nighttime, you can make $200-$500.
Yeah. Wow.
So I'm like broke. and I work like 2-3 day shifts. I'm like barely trying to make my rent. This guy walks in. He's like, yo, guys, I made $800 on the
No,
weekend.
wow.
What?
I don't think it was exactly like that.
No.
Not like
He
that.
was like
It was
Yeah.
I
high-fiving.
believe him.
He's
I
high-fiving
believe him.
everybody, just loving this like tall, flowing hair looking guy. I think I
Oh,
made-
There you go.
Okay.
Flowing
I think I
hair.
made like $80.
like Fabio.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm like, who's this guy? And that was my first impression. But we started working together. And if you ever worked in a restaurant, there's like a hierarchy, and then there's people that are really good. So Cory's really good, and I was good. So we had like respect for each other. When we worked together, we were really good.
Hmm.
And so that's kind of how we friends. And then we ended up like playing basketball and drinking wine. But my very first opinion was like, who's this guy just
Who's this
rubbing my
Fabio-looking
face? How much
guy?
he's making?
Fabio coming
And I'm
on
like
scene,
broke.
throwing the bills left and right.
Oh yeah, it was.
Wow. Well, that's kind of, I mean, it's a little crazy to think what you're doing now, working together, bringing in it's the industry still.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
were
yeah.
back in the wine back then,
It's like
studying it.
well, it's,
Maybe we don't know.
in some aspects, it's almost like our life's work, and that's what makes it.
Yeah.
I think, yeah. I mean, there's so much with like being an entrepreneur and taking the leap, quitting our
Right.
corporate
Yeah.
jobs and doing all that. And that's hard enough, like bootstrapping a startup and
Sure.
trying to figure it all out.
But to do it with someone you're so tight
Yeah.
with that you have the same synergy, same like
Yeah.
vision of things. So then what was who brought it up first? We're like, hey, we should do this.
So
This guy is a genius.
Yeah.
Came up with
He's a
a
special
name.
human.
Yeah.
no. So there was a path to all of this. Like we started off as like servers, then we went and ran a restaurant. So I was a general
Oh,
manager.
Wow.
He was a wine director. Cory won a Wine Spectator Award for our wine list.
Oh.
And then we
Wow.
went to the distributor, and then we sold wine. So you're selling wine to restaurants. But we took a trip to with a winemaker to Bealton. I think it's a little bit south of Santa Barbara, and we went to a Custom Crush and we saw how he made wine.
And it was a wine we served by the glass at the other fine dining restaurant at the time that we were running.
Mm.
So
for a little context.
Yeah, so we had like a love for wine and like serving and watching people like just have great beverage with their meal. But we saw this guy do it, and I was like, wow, my mind was like, this is not as hard as I thought it would be. And so that was probably the first time, and that was probably in 2008, where like the first time, okay, we can do this. And then we started like talking about doing it, and we're like, okay, maybe we can do this. And initially the wine was going to be in bottles. So Los Cuernos would have been in bottles, the initial mock-up for it. And then as our corporate careers progressed, I actually moved back to San Diego, and then I moved to Chicago, and then he went to San Diego. And then we worked together again, and I finally said, well, we're either going to do this or we're not. Because we had told so many people. I felt like I almost did it as like a way of forcing function because I had told so many people we're going to do this.
It's
like, when
good
you guys
accountability there.
We're going to do this. We're going to do this. And we started about 2 years ago, like in my house. Me, one other person.
So you moved from Chicago here.
Sorry.
Did you buy houses next door to each other too?
I know, right?
Do you have no backyard fence?
They have bunk beds.
No, I think we will one day. That's the dream.
Okay,
is, you know, we'll just live in a cul-de-sac.
I'll find you a cool setup.
That's right.
It'll be amazing.
Please.
Oh, that would be amazing, especially up here in North County. Once you go to North County, there is no other place in the world.
It's a special place. We talk about it all the time.
That is so true. Did you? Thank you.
Yes.
No, it's
I'll put that in slow-mo.
so true.
It is. It is really, really special.
Yeah.
And we decided to do it. So we started working on it about 3 or 4 months, but I knew I had to quit my job. So at that time, I had a C-suite job. We had about $175 million business, 300 employees, but I couldn't do this and do that.
Wow.
And so I remember sending an email to my boss saying I want to quit. And
that is a leap of faith.
Yeah, to start a wine
Was
business.
your wife like okay with that?
no, not at all.
Did you have 3 kids at the time?
I did.
So she's just like,
Oh, she's like, what are you doing?
here we go.
Okay.
Oh man.
She's like, it's his fault.
No, you know
Yeah,
what?
she's all of a sudden not stoked on the best friend.
No, I mean, my wife was not
All
thrilled
about
about
strategic positioning.
Right.
Yeah.
And I felt like we had something and we were going to do something. And one point was I came back from Chicago in 2018. So I went from Chicago to Encinitas. So like, woo!
Yeah.
By the way,
That's a good-
Chicago, great food city, amazing people, loved the people there, but I was home and I was here and we went to an event and I saw White Claw, Liquid Death, and High Noon all over the tables. We're actually at the Holding Company in Ocean Beach, one of our accounts, great place. And I looked around, I was like, And I was like, man, I think we got to do cans.
Wow.
And from a business perspective, the bottle footprint is very well defended and it's a very mature business. So it's very hard to break in and find the profitability and success was going to be much harder. So we're both somms. We're fancy wine guys. So I'm like, hey, Cory, we're going to do.
I was going to say, how'd that go over for you?
I want to tell you exact words. I'll let him say. I say, Cory, I think we should do cans. Absolutely not.
Oh, yeah.
That was his word.
Okay, tell
And
me
I've
why.
tried to be as nice as possible.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah, but why? Like, I mean, we could assume why, but were you thinking
Because of the
that
history of wine.
Yeah,
and
just
so-
the culture of it?
Yeah,
and the
just
prestige?
I mean, looking back on it now, it's going to be humbling for me to answer this, but it's really just because I'm like a traditionalist, a purist,
Sure.
and it's just because of what I knew. And you know, we got into wine and then into like just business in general and sales in general, but for my path, my corporate path took even a more niche specific luxury wine path.
Oh, it did.
So I was even
wow.
more, I mean, no, but even at Southern, like I was only dealing with in some roles with only the, you know, super fancy wine. And I don't know, maybe it's just my personality. As much as I, you know, I'll just admit it. I don't really know why, other than maybe it's ego or I don't know, the nostalgia. And we still love bottled wine. This is not like a knock against bottled wine. The best wine in the world is, made in bottles, but also some of the worst wine is made in bottles. So, so I just didn't understand. Zeke's a visionary, and he thinks much different than me, and he thinks much more ahead than I do. So for me, I was just too hung up on the legacy form factor that wine is traditionally delivered in.
So speaking out of ignorance in the wine world, but does it, my first thought is, well, does the aluminum taint it at all? Is that why they have it on?
It never touches the can and the technology.
Wait, explain that.
Yeah. So the technology, I can't go deep because I'm not our winemaker or like the can manufacturer or scientist, but there's a vegetable liner, the technology's there where the juice of the wine never touches the can.
Really?
Okay.
Ever. You could, and this is what we love to do very often, is we blind taste. So as wine guys, part of the core or the kind of the foundation of doing what we do, the blind tasting is the best way to go. It always it puts the focus, all the silly stuff that we kind of allow get in the way, like even me more than others, right? When I'm so opposed to the can, is that blind tasting puts all the focus to the juice, which is inside whatever the glass.
That is so
So
cool.
even the most kind of nth degree of blind tasting takes place in actually a black glass where you can't even tell whether it's red or white. And so with that being said, we love doing it, especially with our reds, our reserve and the red blend is we will blind taste against bottled competitive sets. And what I mean competitive sets, it's like, take into account the varietals and where they're from, and then even kind of price point. And so some of the, wines that sell the best, that people love the most, we will blind taste, whether it's like Dow, Ridge, Three Valleys, and, Prisoner, some of these wines that people know and love, we'll blind taste ours against them.
That's
that is.
You have to do it now. So not now, but we'll have we're actually setting something up at Third Corner. It's a spot we love.
Oh, I love Third Corner.
In Encinitas.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's something that we've always, they know our kind of crew. We have an amazing kind of network, and just randomly here and there organically, we'll just, over the years, even before we started this, we would, we just love to go there and blind taste just for fun.
Are people so amazed? I mean, is it like they're not really expecting much and then they...
Well, I think so. Even because you guys, graciously, you guys brought a bunch of your products for our Halloween party.
Where we met you.
That was good. Where we actually met, and it was amazing. So, I mean, it caught me off guard. It caught everyone else off guard. It's really good. So, I mean, I think a lot of people do get surprised.
Along with I love the slogan of great wine, no rules. Because, again, me not even drinking wine, I'm like, don't you want to pour it into a glass? Like, do people try to do that?
And you can, absolutely.
But it's getting rid of, again, that conditioning.
The
wine conditioning, basically, of, no, just.
And we're not saying don't pour in the glass. At the end of the day, it's just whatever
you want.
Just don't overthink it. Just don't overthink it. So there's times somebody's like, well, I can't drink it out of a can. I'm like, well, if you're at the beach, or if you're at the golf course, like, you're going to be less likely to feel that need to pour it into a glass. But then there's times where I prefer to pour whatever. But
exactly.
Just do it.
Golf and the golf course and the
huge.
beach.
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
just brought luxury into different venues.
You brought up something amazing. So I'm about to burst from the seams. So you guys talk so much. But so the can piece, so Cory and I have tried over to 10,000 wines, and so
wow,
I really
in a non-lush kind of way.
No, because this is what you do. Like when we ran the restaurant, we'd be trying wines every day, 10 to 15 wines, doing blind tasting to get good. Selling wine is different. So if I went to a restaurant, I need to find a wine that's good that their customers are going to like, right? And then whether it's a pizzeria, whether it's a fancy place, and then also for them to make money. And so if they trusted that I was going to deliver, that's really was a secret sauce for both of us, because we knew wines that people like. So the thing about the cans that is annoying to me is I have a can collection in the office. There's coffee, there's green tea, especially in Asia. They have canned everything. Like all the beverages are in cans. You have energy drinks. In particular, coffee is very high acidity, but none of those beverages are held at the same standard because we're brainwashed by the bottles.
So good.
I would say like Elon Musk in first principles thinking is we started completely over. Right when it's from the vineyard and it's made and we have this thing, how do I get it to you too?
Yeah.
Right. So the steps in between are bottle, cork, closure, distributor, grocery store. And we decided we're going to take a different route and bring you the wine. And like irregardless of the old system. And so
So you show up at the doorstep in tuxes.
Yeah. With flowing hair.
Yeah. I bring like a fan too. So dramatic effect.
So I will tell you as a wine person, like the real part for us was the fear was, could we make a good enough wine in a can? So we didn't know those answers as well.
Right.
We knew we were going to do it. and I'd quit my job. so there was a lot of fear there. And you raise money from like all the people that love you in the world that supported you.
Yeah.
So it's like this double-edged thing, like, oh, you're on tour, it's great. I was like, no, I'm gonna go waste all these people's hard-earned money that love me, that have written me these tiny checks or whatever. So we found through one of the biggest lucky things of the whole company was we knew the varietals we wanted to do and the wine we wanted to do. We know how wine tastes, but we can't make wine. So we were Googling custom crushes, in particular, this varietal called Petit Syrah. And so we found one, like, oh, this guy worked at Petit Syrah. He's from Lodi. And we cold called him. His name is Gerardo Espinoza. Cory cold called him. And it's funny because I'm hearing it from second person. He's like, hey, this is Cory. He's like, hi, man. Yeah, we want you to make some wine for us. He's like, okay, cool.
By the way, I didn't know it was him at first. I just called the facility.
Oh, right.
Oh,
yeah. He happened to answer.
He happened to answer because it was busy. And he's like, okay, when do you guys want to come in? Like, when are you available? It was Thursday. He's like, Tuesday. Okay, see you Tuesday. And like hung up. And he couldn't believe that because we had cash burn. So we had to go see him right away. We flew there the following Tuesday. His vision of us is Zeke comes in flailing his arms. He goes, you guys had the energy.
He tells the story. You can find it. Some video.
But he goes, you guys were sommelier, so you knew what you were doing. And he took it very personal. He was like, I mean, Cory always says, he said, you can't make a good red wine in a can.
He said that.
Okay.
And in fact, the red, gosh, I'll have to take one step back. The problem with the initial canned wines is they were low quality bottle wines poured into cans. They weren't actually designed for the can. And so for us, we're wine guys, and we go to all these places, and I tried them all. And it was like I called a one and done. I'd be like, oh, I'm going to try this out. Man, they tricked me. And then you would never order it ever again, and we would get beers all the time. And I really wanted to drink wine with my burger, my pizza, with my wife. So we explained it to the winemaker, and he's like, well, you can't make a red because a good red hadn't existed. And then he thought about it, and he's like, well, if I'm going to do this, then I'm going to have to make a good wine. Like, he really like took a personal challenge to it. And then he began doing research. So there's a lot of science behind the wine. There's less sulfites in the wine because a normal bottled wine has more sulfites in it to preserve the wine. The seal on a can is like 99.999, where like a cork lets a little bit of air in. So we don't need to preserve the wine well. The seal doesn't. So an awesome thing is there's less sulfites, and then we found out the wine is fresher.
Really?
So he made the wines for us, and this was the moment of all for me. And he flew down to San Diego, and I remember we kind of didn't know him well. Now he's family, and I was walking in the room, and I said to myself, if this isn't at the level, so as a wine salesperson, I can taste a wine and I can tell you pretty much how much it costs and how much we'd sell for, whether it's $10, $12, $14, $16, $20, $22. If it did not taste at the price point, like I was going to have to give all the money back to investors. Because
wow. So that was it.
you can't sell a crappy wine at a higher price. Eventually, your reputation, it's too hard.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember just taking a prayer. I was like, please, these wines have to be good. And legitimately, the very first one over my expectations. So it like calmed me down.
Wow.
And then we tried through the rest.
Wow.
And then the second moment was how they were going to be in the cans. And so once we knew that the wine was good, I was like, oh my God, this whole thing is a lie. Right.
Wow.
And so we made a really good product. And then the second part was like going against this whole system that is built one way, kind of what you said earlier. You have this vision of a bottle, table, people pouring it. That was actually the harder part. The first part was just making the wine above level, but the second part was like breaking through the entire system.
Yeah.
So
the system, which I think if there was ever a time in history, people are breaking systems left and right. We're kind of sick of systems, and we're wanting to almost, it's like this, we're restoring these old traditions and bringing in this new, it's like this juxtaposition of the old meets the new.
And we're seeing how popular White Claws and, canned beverages are right now. So it's,
especially here in San Diego. I mean,
go to the beach. And
15 years ago, even with craft beer.
Right.
15 years ago, you couldn't really find a craft beer in a can.
That's true.
And now,
it's true.
You can't really find one not in a can.
Yeah.
Huh.
Wait, so all this happened within the last 2 years?
2 years, yeah.
That's actually, that's quick.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It's happening.
Wow, it's still happening. Yeah.
I'm so impressed. So once it got into the can, then you had that taste test. How'd that go?
Actually, we tasted at the winery out of a steel tank, which was very similar. And so it was good. In fact, there's this clip of me saying this is going to be a layup drill, which was like the worst foot and mouth ever because it's not been a layup drill. It's been very, very hard. And so the wine was really good. And I think we've made a product ahead of its time. But the distribution footprint, the customer adoption wasn't ready for it. And so that's part of our journey through social media, through the accounts that we go to, is really expressing this. And I mean, you two both live local. I, maybe 2 years ago or a year and a half ago, was at Carlsbad Beach with my family, and I saw all these cutwaters out and people walking. And like, wine is like a gift to the world. So wine is 6,000 years old, right? It is naturally low carb, low sugar. People don't know that. So we didn't do anything to wine. Wine just comes out 1 gram of sugar, 4 grams of carbs, these 3, and the rosé has 2, right? So a beverage that's like that, and then still wine doesn't have to be refrigerated. So if you think about like on a sustainable impact, cans are the most recycled beverage in the world. And then still wine doesn't have to be refrigerated. So all of the energy to make bottles and to chill beverages and to recycle, like the whole impact is much less.
Wow.
Right? So so I think, okay, we're on to something there. We're on like this low carb, low sugar thing naturally.
Yeah.
We're like, how do we mark wine different? Because wine was marketed more towards lifestyle and luxury, and we're just like, great wine, no rules. Like, enjoy it. It's a natural beverage, has no artificial sweeteners. We put that on the can and just enjoy it. So I love when someone could just have a burger, because to me, a burger is such a perfect thing with the red wine. But then if you want to drink like a rosé with your salad, or if you want to just go for a walk, someone's like, I love your wine when I walk my dog. I was like,
oh, right. Hey, can you believe we have 336 members now of the group?
I know.
That's
Crazy
great.
how fast that was actually in a year.
Celebrate.
Okay, you're always wanting, look at that. Look how quick he is to celebrate.
Well, we have to celebrate.
What are you looking for though?
So that corkscrew.
Tune. Los Cuernos. No corkscrew needed. What do you want? You want a rosé? Red. Another red. But you want Chardonnay, I'm sure.
Chardonnay, just
pop that open.
so
Yeah, gone are the days of walking with a wine glass. You know, you see all the women trick or treating with their kids, and they have their wine glass. No.
By the way, this was not our intent for this to become an infomercial. By the way, so
I'm turning it into one.
Yeah.
And we're here for it all.
We've been thinking about this thing and working on this thing for 10 years. So sometimes, I mean, me especially, Cory, I'm probably doing it now. I just explode with stuff on it.
Yeah.
Because it's like pent up.
Yeah.
But I think, I thought about the best situation is like we're kind of just freeing wine a little bit. It really became fine dining and stuffy.
Yeah.
And like craft beer is like cool
for everyone.
Wow.
Yeah. What was the first time you sold it somewhere and you actually saw it on the shelves?
Oh yeah, that's a great question. So I would pull up the text, but it would be nothing to the viewers. So our first account in Carlsbad was kind of a whole nuanced story itself, but it was the one that's nostalgic the most for us, and that was very like it was critical in us understanding kind of the product market fit. Is probably the best way to say it. But was Gonzo Ramen
I love that place
in the village. Yeah,
really.
So Jamie and Mika are special people, and they're friends of ours now.
Great.
I had casually known them from just being a customer. My daughters love ramen. We lived nearby at the time in Carlsbad, and so for us that was like our first like account. So it was so awesome the first time seeing somebody in the wild order it.
Wow.
And he just texted me like yesterday, and it was just him. He was like with a picture of like the Chardonnay. He had like a hat on, and he was just kind of an organic thing, but so Gonzo Ramen was that.
Hey, that's
that
great.
for me.
A little tear when you saw it.
What's that?
A little tear when you saw it the first time. You're like,
yeah. It meant a lot. I mean, it was nostalgic for many reasons, but one was, kind of going back to the brand and the product. Before Los Cuernos was at Gonzo Ramen, he did not serve a wine. And this is very important to understand. He didn't serve a wine, but he had an amazing beverage program. His food's amazing, right?
Sure.
Well acknowledged, but even his beverage program was amazing. He had great sakes, great almost beer, great did a collab with Booze Brothers. They have amazing array of unique beverages, some specific to Japan, some just kind of all around good breath. But he had no wine.
Wow.
And so a lot of people, this is lost on them that wine's a $70 billion industry, and 20% of alcoholic beverages, consumed by volume is wine. And so we're the only wine in Gonzo Ramen. But
that's cool.
his original thought process was like, he just immediately thought of the traditional wine system. He's like, well, I don't even have room for the glassware. And all my servers, they'd be educated, and then it's all they got this, that, and the pairings.
That is the rules.
It's the rules.
It's the rules.
And so he's like, because of that, he's like, baby out with the bathwater.
Wow.
And so now,
it's like, convenient. It's
that right there.
Yeah.
Just alone.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing too is, I grew up in the restaurant business, but same thing. I mean, if you open up a bottle again, you have to try to sell all of it, and it takes up space.
Not to mention the waste. Yeah,
you'll have waste with this. It's
put panic into the servers who are opening up that bottle. Let me just say.
Well, only her. Yeah.
I'm like, it's okay. It's okay.
I've got this.
Yeah.
But I had two parts of Gonzo is that it's really well known for like having great food. So for us, it's easy to say, look, they have such high standards. Like he's like, look, my 3 boys are born in Japan, right?
Yeah.
Like, which all work there, by the way.
There's such high standards on the food that our wine made it there. And then I went with my wife and I saw someone buy it. And I was like, can I go talk to him? I was like, you're not going to go do that.
What do you think? Yeah.
No, but that was surreal because we dreamed it. I'm a San Diego kid.
Yeah.
Oh, it was amazing.
I love that. So good.
Yeah.
Good.
Wow.
No, it was a super special moment that I saw someone drink it the first time.
Okay, tell me why you picked that one. Is that your normal go-to? Do you have a favorite, either of you?
Oh, no, let's see.
Or is it just depending on what
it's
you're
like,
eating?
what time's like, it's the middle of the day, so it's like, I think I'll just try a little bit of Chard and not drink a red.
There we go.
That's great. And for the audience out there, I haven't opened mine yet because of that Asian glow. I want to wait till the end of the podcast, so I'm not read the entire podcast.
My favorite one is this one here. So there were a couple good Chards in cans. There's a couple that there were no reds that we did. Our winemaker made like the first full-bodied red. Now there's some out afterwards, but that wine, in fact, during the tasting, we made some adjustments on the Chard. We made adjustments on the Rosé. That one, when we tried it, was exactly. We wrote this long page of notes.
Really?
We compared it, and I said that is perfect.
Wow.
So,
that's
really good.
It's like a Hallmark show. With
yeah,
the
it
two
is.
of
With
you.
the story behind it.
It's like, you know, what are
There should be a movie.
Yeah, there should be a movie.
Hallmark movie.
Yes.
Well, and the thing too is, I mean, that's the
growth.
whole point of our podcast. That we get to the heart of the matter. But
Yeah.
what I love about it is, you know, we talk to a lot of different people, and you know, I deal with a lot of different business owners, and sometimes they'll start a business just because they want to make money, so they just have this goal. But the fact that you two have a passion, you have a history, and it really is. There's a lot of heart into this, and you're all about community. So yeah, I applaud both of you.
Absolutely.
I'd watch that movie. I mean,
You'd watch a Hallmark?
yeah.
I think the wine industry, like any growing, mature business, they just forgot about the customer in some parts of it.
Right.
And so
Most parts.
I'm not like,
Sure.
I don't want to say that these are like bad products, what's going to come out this way. But the small plastic bottles are very, very low quality wine. San Diego, Southern California is the #1 wine market, most profitable wine market in the world.
Wow.
Really?
By the way.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And so you see tons of Dow, Sonoma-Cutrer, Decoy, Duckhorn, all being drank everywhere. But then we go to these restaurants and they're charging me $15, $17 for pizza, for burrito, for this. And then that plastic bottle, I know how much it costs. We used to sell it. And so I felt like we were getting ripped off when you have an option. And so that was part of it too, is like our whole thing is like, how can we bring better wine to more consumers at a fair price? And like James from Gonzo kind of locked it for us, these counter service style restaurants. So now we're like at Flippin' Pizza,
Right.
we're at Board and Brew.
Oh, really?
And it's super cool to watch, or people tell
That's
us
really cool.
that I get to like enjoy wine or see people, you know, walking around.
Yeah. That is okay. So what's your end? Like when you begin with the end in mind, what was your dream for this?
To save the wine industry from itself.
No, really. I mean, because we're
Just to
moving
make an
forward
impact,
and we're not, it wasn't keeping up with the movement of consumers, or what?
Yeah, so wine's actually been losing the last 10 years. So about 2015, the wine quality on the buy the glass list started declining, lists started shrinking. So they never really did the user acquisition. They never really turned that wheel. And then beer and spirits, so beers and draft systems. So it's easy for you to get a single great glass of beer. It's easy for you to get a cocktail. Even spirits, you can get a small serving of whiskey. You can buy small bottles. But wine, you had to buy 4 servings.
Yeah.
Right? So if I wanted to try wine as a young person, I had to buy a 4-serving bottle. And then I would go to the restaurants, and then the quality was bad. So I always call it the worst foot forward. So wine we're basically just saying, no, you're going to drink the crappy stuff. And then when you get more money, you can drink the good stuff. So the beginning of the wine journey was really bad. So we're fixing the beginning so we can get to all the good bottles.
I love that.
And so that is like a problem industry that I think we're really addressing.
It's almost a paradox because you're changing the culture of it, but you're bringing in the culture. You're bringing back the culture to young people.
Yeah, most people think, I mean, you'll hear it if you haven't already, is that wine has a marketing problem. And we firmly believe it doesn't. I mean, I'm sure, you know, it has an access problem.
Yeah,
that's why
it's
we're
a consumer trial problem.
It makes sense.
Sure.
Well, and the thing too, I mean, like you said, it goes back 6,000 years. It's like the wine industry is stuck in their ways. They kind of, because it's worked, and they're not necessarily evolving. Well, the fact that you're evolving.
And so much of it makes sense. I mean, wine has amazing tradition, right? And so it's a slippery slope, but
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I mean, again, everything from being creative, you know, coming up with the name, everything. I mean, you both are the perfect. I mean, I guess
embody all of it.
this. This is great. I mean, again, I saw you on LinkedIn and or Instagram and social media, and I was like, oh, I got to meet these guys. These two are amazing. And then saw you at the Halloween party, and I follow you on Instagram. You're all over the place, and it's a lot of personality that's behind it. That's what I love. You're changing the game.
We hope so. It's small. I think, you know, people tell us it's like a highlight reel. I think I mean, you two are doing as well. Like entrepreneurship is very difficult,
Mm-hmm.
and breaking through the system, we got a lot of no's,
Sure.
a lot of this will never work. Why'd you quit your job?
Yeah.
Been the most difficult thing that I mean, I can speak for myself, but I also know it's true for him that we've done in our life.
Right.
Super difficult,
Mm.
but it's also incredibly like
Rewarding. And
yeah,
sure.
yeah. It's been exhilarating and one of the most gratifying things also. But
Do you feel like you've rounded the corner now where you're seeing the light of where it's going? That now it's, all right, we pushed the hardest up the hill and now we're getting to enjoy
I
the
would like to
view?
say yes, but so much of in my experience with entrepreneurship involves, Zeke has always liked to term me as like this irrational confidence guy. But I think with what we're doing, there's some of it that's, like we, one of our, a couple of our close friends just recently had their first kids, right? And, we all know this. We all have kids, and so you can relate, but beforehand, there's nothing you can tell.
Right.
There's nothing you can tell
Sure.
anybody. There's nothing. So now we just laugh. We're just like,
So
But
true.
there's nothing you can tell somebody. And so in my experience, it's very similar.
Mm.
And so it takes almost like this blind faith. That's like this constant kind of faith journey.
Yeah,
Right.
and support.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like you have a lot of good support from your immediate family, and
You're right.
then outward,
You're
your
right.
friends and family have supported
Yeah.
you, and then each other to kind of bounce
Yeah.
things off of each other, like, dude, this sucks, or we had a win,
Yeah.
We have an incredible group of like advisors and help. We've gotten incredibly lucky at
Mm.
times. Oh, can't believe we made it.
So
Yeah.
good. It's so good.
It is. Absolutely.
We're your cheerleaders. I'm serious.
Thank
I'm
you.
so
Thank you.
so impressed by the whole concept, the going out on the
Yeah.
edge a little bit.
Yeah. Every time I see it at a new place, because you'll post it, and I'm like, yes, let's go.
Yeah, appreciate
Yeah.
it. We
Yeah.
appreciate all the support, and it is a little bit surreal. So we are turning some corners as far as adoption. I remember like all these big stores and Sprouts and Total Wines, they've made so much money off bottled wine. Like they have 200 selections.
Right.
So they're not ready, and the big companies aren't ready just to let us win, right?
Sure.
So
Mm.
that part has
That's-
been challenging. I will say the consumer adoption has changed. So we've been doing this for 2 years. The canned wine is more acceptable now, which is great, and we just got to kind of like keep going at it. But
Sure.
Why not go on Shark Tank? They would love you.
I'll be
We're-
the factual answer is that they would not give us the valuation that we already got.
Right.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
And there's not the need for
Right.
investment at the time.
Oh yeah.
Thank
You're
you.
not looking for investment. You're looking for
Not-
what are you?
Thanks,
I
man.
mean, what do you need?
More locations, more.
Let's see. You said earlier, like, what would be the dream? So I'm just going to say it out there. So hopefully this happens in the
Yeah.
next few
All right.
years.
Yeah, good.
So the account that I really want, which really over delivers value consistently and has like fresh, natural products, is Chipotle.
Really?
They actually don't serve wine. In my
Hmm.
opinion, is they're a chef-driven concept from the beginning. He did it off those Mission burritos up in San
Yeah.
Francisco. Is they've never been a good enough single-serve product. And the way that inflation has hit the bottom 90%, because I travel and I go all these accounts and everyone's talking about things cost a lot, is now you'd be able to get this really whole natural meal, and then you would get to a great glass of wine
To
at
pair
a
with.
very
Wow.
fair
Wow.
price. And so I would love to be able to give that access to a lot of people who can't go to fine dining, who
Mhm.
can't go buy a bottle.
Sure. Yeah.
It's going to happen. One of our
Wow.
listeners has to have someone in on Chipotle. So do you hear that, right?
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
That's really
Well,
good.
but what I do like too is you're at a lot of local places. Our thing too is to really promote local and really
Yeah.
promote, because it is difficult to
Yeah.
start a business, to run a business,
Yeah.
and so on, and continue to grow a business and scale, especially in San Diego. So the fact that we believe in community, you believe in community,
Yeah.
so does Bermuda Club. I mean, you're
Yeah.
aligning yourself with people that really have the same ethos.
Yeah, it's a good point, June. And I think to kind of dovetail to the previous question, but kind of along the same line of thought is communities, it's paramount to what we do and how we believe brands are properly built.
Mhm.
And it just takes a little more a little more elbow grease
Yeah.
and just going deep and going
Yeah.
deep. So, for us here as a San Diego brand, we partnered with the San Diego Wave, the women's professional soccer
Right.
team,
Saw that.
which has been
Good.
unbelievable.
Good.
You want to share the other one, should we, or no? We haven't formally announced it, but
Yeah, we'll announce it right here.
okay.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
We are going to be the only still wines in the Rady Shell.
Oh, you're
Oh.
kidding.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah.
So,
Starting
Wow.
now, we'll be at Rady Shell, but and then all the other
That's
other
great.
places. But as far as like turning a corner, San Diego, the journey here has been amazing, although not easy. But now it's like Zeke and I were just for example, we were just in Austin, Texas, which
Mhm.
is a market we've identified. Probably no surprise,
Mhm.
and
Sure.
we're engaged, talking with the athletic department at the University
Oh.
of Texas,
Wow,
and so
that's
there's
so
just a
good.
lot there, and it's
Right.
a very
Yeah.
nuanced situation. But I guess to generally answer your question, we'll be expanding markets, right? So
Cool.
we'll be
Great.
going we going to Orange County, throughout the rest of California
Yeah.
in a deeper way,
Hmm.
and then also some other strategic markets. But we want to do it thoughtfully, and we want to do it right.
Sure.
So, turn the corner, kind of, taking a deep breath or see the light. Well, maybe to a certain degree momentarily, and then
But
it's
you're
on
still
to,
digging deep.
right,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
and then it just progresses.
Yeah.
Life of an
Ah.
entrepreneur.
Yeah.
I think you brought something here. I'm trying to like get the words right. So part of the thing that we talked about is a different company. Like this is the first time in the history of the world where we can talk directly to our customers. Like that's how you found us,
Mm.
right? And we launched this company 10 years ago, maybe when I wanted to have money, we would have had to pay a lot of basically what they call over-the-top media, ESPN, ABC, Food Network. But there's a lot of
True.
companies that treat their employees horribly or they treat their partners horribly, but I have this product and you're going to buy it and I'm going to squeeze you and make money. So we thought something different here. We're like, celebrate our partners. So you see how we really try to celebrate the people we work with, like, whether it's a Bermuda Club, whether it's Lourdes, whether it's Gonzo, we try to like just say, hey, how awesome they are. And then how we treat our partners that we work with. I
Mhm.
think eventually the transparency of being good human beings is going to be the way that brands win.
Hmm.
It's not going to be that I have this influencer, I spend more money than you,
Right.
that we're going to tell this
Mhm.
story day in, day out. But we have to live it too, right?
Mhm.
So we have to like grind and go work with these people and be held accountable for how we treat our own employees.
Sure.
But that is going to be unbreakable. Whereas buying a bunch of marketing ads, buying stuff, to me, that's a fake relationship.
Sure.
So let's see how
It's
well
fleeting.
this ages.
Mhm.
But that's our whole thing. It's like celebrate our partners and work with our communities.
That's amazing.
I love that.
That's
and you can
really
feel that.
good.
I mean, it's genuine. So
Yeah,
yeah.
that's great. Good.
But Texas is going to be huge if it works out. And hopefully Notre Dame too. Our brother, if you're listening,
Oh yeah.
let's get into Notre Dame. So
I live in
It still
Chicago.
could be. It
It's
still
still-
could be UT Notre
yeah.
Dame national championship.
I know.
We got to
Notre
find a
Dame.
way to watch it with
Why
Bid.
not?
Yeah.
Horns is your logo. What's the logo on top here?
Oh, that's the cutting board. Like, to me, like, it doesn't have to be because of, great wine, no rules. You can drink on your own. But, like, food and wine have just always kind of been together and, like, cooking and food. So that's why the cutting board's.
Yeah, I love that. You got to get into now that charcuterie boards are so big everywhere for everything,
Yeah.
Get some event planners on this with the charcuterie setup. My mind's reeling is what's happening. It's a problem.
We're kinda
This has
going-
been special, by the
Really?
way.
What's
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
This has been
I didn't think we were going to go so deep
I'm
here.
sorry.
Yeah, no, we
Hey.
part of the matter. That's what we
Part
do
of the
here.
matter.
I
You
mean,
come
this-
back for part 2. We're really going to dig
Exactly.
deep. This-
Yeah,
We're
and
here
the
for it.
expansion. I mean, we should do one now and then do one at the end of the
Ooh,
year
that would
and
be
see.
fun.
Because
Yes,
I mean that
that's fine.
your path to like the way you're growing, it's been amazing. I mean, it's, you know, the short time that we've known each other, I've just seen it kind
Absolutely.
of
Yeah, that's really
I think
fun.
I've been shell shocked from the painful times that it's still hard to
It's like
enjoy.
eating glass and
Staring to the abyss and eating glass. That's
Yeah,
what I said about doing the
yes.
startup.
Yeah.
And we're
I wonder
bootstrapped.
if that ever really changes, you know, to talk to
just say it
entrepreneurs
does.
where there's
Just say
Yeah.
it.
it's like with kids, you know, when people will say it only gets harder and you're like, why are you telling me that?
Yeah.
I have all these toddlers. I don't
It's
want to know
hard
it
now.
gets harder
Hard
as
now.
teenagers,
Oh, you're
you
hitting
know?
home right now.
Gosh, but
21-year-old.
I will tell you, all parents, it gets better. It just gets better and better and better. And so I think that's the route you're on. Is it
But
just
and the
That's
thing too is,
encourage Thank you.
yeah, and especially you know,
It
you
is.
each have 3 daughters, and it does get better each time. It's still difficult in its own way, and I think the same thing.
Yeah.
It's been difficult for you to get to this point. It's been
Yeah,
painful.
yeah.
Sure.
You're gonna run into other obstacles, but it gets better and better. It's gonna get a little easier because now you have the experience, and now that you know, you have true belief in yourself. You've gotten to this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now that
That's the
you've gone
hardest
through
part.
it, you're like, oh, I can do this. Oh,
The creation
there's
part
another
is the hardest part.
issue. Yeah.
Now you just get to almost as it grows, I'm sure, just observe those moments where you see someone across the way drinking it. You know, you get to observe and bask in
Yeah.
the hard work.
Pat
That's
yourself
the
on the
best part.
shoulder and be like, all right, let's do it again.
Yeah.
Let's keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. We're
It's
grateful
really,
for
really
the both
good.
of you.
Yeah.
Really good.
And what you guys have going on here. It's cool.
Yeah.
Is that, I mean, I know Market Space is kind of a, you know, having a little remodel, but
Yeah.
just seeing what you guys do and seeing how
We don't do much, really.
Well,
We just talk.
you're so humble, but I really know and I see it. So
Nope.
it's special and it's obvious for, you know, the people and what you guys have built even here in San Diego. Like Scott doesn't miss a Friday. I mean,
Yeah.
he's the one who I'm like, oh, I need to, like, he was kind of the straw for me to actually go to my
Yeah.
first one, you know,
Right.
on a Friday.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
I love that.
anyway,
Yeah.
the impact that you guys are making here, in my estimation, may even go further than you realize.
Yeah.
Mm,
Making the
you.
content all the time.
Thank you.
Right? How hard it is. Like, he's a professional. Doing that all the time, and you're like, oh, it's so lame. I look so this. And,
Yeah.
and I saw you on Christmas. I saw it.
know.
Oh my God,
I
he is
know.
just
I apologize, people.
no, but no, I as someone who's doing it, like, I respect that you're putting all this work and then you're giving to the community, and you may not be getting all the stuff back, right? Like, man, I'm doing all this work and it's not working so much. But so I just respect, like, the hustle and the grind, and so that's why, like, I try to always like your stuff, because I'm like,
Thank
these
you.
guys are out working all the time. They're doing it and they're trying to bring light to the community in a really negative social media world.
Right.
Generally, the news, social media is so polarized and negative that I love that you're just like, hey, we're doing this, entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
Come on, come meet here, come this, and going to the one at Market Space where people are laughing and talking, and not everyone's just doing this.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
So
It's cool.
It's so easy to do it. Well, and
Thank
that was
you.
the biggest thing. When we had our first 7 meetings, somebody cried. And so, because it's
Oh my
difficult.
God.
And literally,
Can you give us a little
yeah,
more
come on.
context?
Yeah,
Why did
yeah.
someone cry?
somebody cried, something personal
Every
came up.
meeting we
Okay.
Something
see
came up
bring
with,
out emotions.
hey,
The good kind of cry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good kind of cry.
Okay.
Or it could
Yeah,
be
we should
bad.
My wife calls them, yeah, that's my wife
But
calls them
not
happy
even-
tears.
But not even
Yeah.
that. It was even the bad kind of cries. Like, I don't know how to drive business.
Yeah.
I've been
Yeah.
trying.
Just
I've
a
been trying
deep,
to-
real
it's
cry.
Or
deep,
I
yeah.
want to leave corporate. It's not what my heart's wanting.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do it. I mean, there was a lot of emotions. We were in a little more of an intimate setting. As it's grown, we're trying to keep the integrity of that intimacy
okay.
because we're expanding so fast, which we love. It's like, come on, come all. You
Mhm.
know, come into the family, and that's the feel. that you
Everyone in
want.
some way is struggling. So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
why.
Hey,
And as far as
Yeah.
like seeing me out there, I prefer not to be on social media and be out there. But what I have seen, yeah, right, is that I've seen that the things we've said, the people we've actually interviewed, they've had an effect on people. And they're like, and they'll message me saying, "Hey, thank you for this. This
It's
helped."
awesome.
Yeah.
And so that to me is what drives us and
Yeah.
our passion to really help to just be really out there and meet people like you, have people get to know you, support your brand, support the community.
And the success comes from the authenticity. We really do like what we.
Oh yeah, you
Or-
can tell.
or
You don't have to
do-
tell
go,
us.
go,
You
go.
don't have to tell us.
We
Yeah.
don't feel like
Right.
you know it's
Yeah.
work. We're always like, Can
not
we
like a
just
force.
do this?
Right.
Like, is this what we can actually do?
It's almost like
Because-
imposter syndrome. I'm like, we're kind of having too much fun.
I
don't
know. I
I don't know
know.
if Natron's having fun. Are you having fun, Natron?
But and one more too I saw because I well, I won't say I was a big time corporate, but I have a lot of relationships in corporate business and stuff. And a lot of guys are like lonely and they suffer
Yes.
alone. So you have that men's group
Totally.
thing.
Yeah.
I was like, yes.
Yeah.
Like guys
Right.
just like go home and then they just go, like so having the outlet say, okay,
I think
that
he's projecting a little.
yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Like I probably need to that too. Is that you have a place
Now we're
where
going
you
Yeah,
have
we're
other
getting
people, other men that your age, and you're like, oh, that guy's got it all made, and then he's like, no, 'cause
Yeah.
my life sucks too.
Absolutely.
Or I'm going, not my life sucks. I'm going through this.
Right.
And so I think the men's group thing, you're really onto something because I meet a lot of
Cute.
successful guys that are
Yeah.
super lonely.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
Well, imagine if you
So
started
glad you
this
said that.
without.
No, I
each other.
can't. This guy is.
I mean, could you
this
imagine?
guy is-
It's yeah.
Yeah.
And,
I mean,
and-
we've whatever experience, whatever kind of entrepreneur courses we've taken, everybody harps on, oh, it's the, you have to have, and they do the studies with the metrics on, you need to know them for at least 5. There's really no metric you can put on
Mm.
the bond, the organic bond, and just being
Right.
right.
kind,
Yeah.
forgiving. I mean, it's just it's almost like you can't explain it. And to answer your question, there would be no other
It's
way.
too
Right.
hard.
Other way.
It's an unconditional love, truly.
Sure.
It's a
Yeah.
complete charitable, like, I
Yep.
trust you, you trust me. It's unconditional.
Yep.
Yes.
Unconditional, the way it goes.
Well
It's
put.
lasted
Yes.
so
I would have sounded
long.
a little different if I said
know?
that. in that
I can say that.
moment.
It's part of the women's group.
Yeah.
No,
Exactly.
speaking of, we are starting that because I think what women find hard is how do we bring our authentic nature to a corporate business and stay true to our heart? Because we're
Sure,
not used
sure.
to functioning in the do category as much as we are in the like
Mhm.
create and feel. And
Mhm.
so I love the components of the men's group where they're really getting to what's really going on behind the scenes. Let's open up a bit. And the women are like, how do I funnel this creativity, be authentic to myself, and put it into play? And so our goal in coming together is now let's merge it.
It's like, let's
get
come
this
together.
strong on this side,
Yeah.
strong on this side, and really
Cool,
bring
cool.
both components together. And hopefully it will help relationships at home,
Mhm.
and hopefully it will help relationships within the community. And yeah,
That's right.
Let's
Yes.
go.
Love it.
Susan, to your point, as much as this guy is everything and it wouldn't be possible, it really wouldn't be possible. The unsung heroes are my wife at home
Sure.
and
yeah.
my kids at home
Yeah.
and in
Right.
kind of the support network
Yeah.
besides that. It
absolutely.
would be impossible.
Yeah.
Possible.
There has to be
Great
that
life.
that personal. That's why like Bermuda Club's great. I mean, they have that balance of work life, wellness and
Yes.
health. So
The
there's that balance.
wellness,
You really
the-
do because we all know
So
coming
true.
from the corporate world,
Mhm.
people that are just business. You know what
Yeah.
suffers usually is their home life.
Family.
Yeah.
People that are just all again. We do have a large component of kind of the naturopathic, like the woo woo.
Sure.
If they're too woo woo and they're not business, the
Yeah.
business suffers.
Yeah.
You need to meld that together.
Yeah.
Balance
That's the other balance we're trying to bring to the
Yes.
table.
I love it. You're going to have to run a business course on startups here. soon.
Yeah.
I mean, with what you've come up with.
Well, and it just gives so much hope to the viewers. I really think it's great that you just did it. You took the step forward and you're watching it evolve, and we're all here to support you and be behind you and say, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah,
Thank you
no,
so
thank
much.
you. Yeah.
Thank you so much. What's the best way again to support you? To see you?
I would probably just go to our Instagram.
Okay.
I mean, our Instagram, you'll find a lot more context there. One of the best decisions as a company we've made. I mean, the list is endless. Winemaker, but like our media team is so special to us, and they're a large part of what we do in allowing to speak directly to our customers in that authentic way. So Instagram, it also has like links to like whether it's our website or to be able to order direct.
Great.
If you're not in a market that currently offers Los Cuernos at retail, we have our store locator that's linked on there.
That's great.
And
Okay.
then you can just find more context on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then for me, LinkedIn. So
All right.
Oh,
yeah, for me, a lot of
Let's put a LinkedIn link on our Instagram. Then what I made can always make sense also.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's good.
for me, like you know, I'm going to be on 48 trips around the sun. And a lot of like pain experiences. The only thing I want to share
Yes.
all the things that I learned
He's actually
out
70.
out there. So yeah, we'll see how it all works
Cool.
out.
And you can order online.
Yep.
Right?
can.
Yeah, you can
Nice.
order online and like nationally. I mean, there's a couple states that have weird laws, but
Sure.
yeah.
Perfect. Let's keep it going. Again, I appreciate it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Really, I
thank
learned
you
a
for
lot.
being
This is
here.
great.
Truly, for all of our
Yeah.
people, we are thankful.
It's definitely inspirational for our viewers. So
Yeah.
again, like and subscribe on Spotify and YouTube.
Yes, check out right here. We put it up
Los Cuernos.
for you. Los Cuernos
Great wine, no
website
rules.
And their Instagram. Thank you. Thanks for
Yeah.
tuning in. And groups on Friday. So if you want to participate in the group, we'd be more than happy to have you. 9 a.m.
Reach out to
And
us
you can reach out on the group SD
on Instagram, LinkedIn.
All right.
Yeah, and our website.
Okay.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.